This is Fishing in Germany, and I wanted to do a quick video on something I'll be doing again soon, and that's guided fishing trips. So if you're in the Kaiserslautern area or the vicinity of the Kaiserslautern area, maybe you just got your fishing license, maybe you're planning to do it, or maybe you haven't really gone fishing yet in Germany, I'm offering to do a guided trip. There's several possibilities, but the average idea of my guided trip is it's a location, it's about a 30-minute drive from Ramstein Air Base, and it's on the Glan River. It's a spot I go to very frequently. I'm joining the fishing club there. It's really close to my house, so I go there quite often. And great location. It's really nice, beautiful location. It's very peaceful there, not crowded at all. And there's a lot of multi-species. There's a lot of different fish you can catch there, and a lot of big fish too. So it's a pretty cool spot. I've had very good luck there most of the time. All you really need is your German fishing license. That's the only thing you really need. If you don't have a German fishing license and you have an ID card, a military ID card, the next fishing course available is March 30th at the Kaiserslautern Rod and Gun Club. So don't miss that up, because they don't pass it up. They don't do them that often. I think a couple times a year. Generally, it just takes a couple mornings. They'll say like 3 days. For me, it was 2 days for like an hour or two on a weekend, like Saturday and Sunday. It'll cost you $60, and then you get your certification of passing the course, which is good for the rest of your life. With that, then you just go to your local rot house and get your fishing license. Depends on where you live. Costs about €5 a year. All right, so if you have your own gear, that's great. If not, I have everything you need. I can provide all the gear, from the poles to the bait to the tackle. For tackle, if you do need tackle, no problem. I can tell you some places. If you tell me your location, where the closest shop is to you. There's a few big ones in Kaiserslautern. There's one in Ramstein. There's one in Eder Oberstein. Even where I go, pretty close by, a couple towns down, there's this really cool little shop. It's actually, this old lady kind of runs this store in her basement. It's a small place, but it's packed. They have everything you can possibly need there, and the prices are actually really good. So for me personally, I always like supporting these little mom and pop shops like that. If you're not sure what to get, I can go with you there to kind of help you pick out stuff. That's one thing to keep in mind. In these rivers, you will end up getting snagged here and there, so you want to make sure you have enough tackle as far as like weights and hooks like that. But yeah, like I said, half-hour drive. And generally, I'll say for a day, I'm not really strict about the time. We could say about 8 hours. I'm charging €50 for a day like this to be the guide, and that price also includes your fishing permit for the location. So it's actually very cheap compared to some of these other places that do it. There's not a whole lot. I mean, I don't know of any specific places in Germany around here that do guided fishing trips. There are some. They're usually for fly fishing, and most of what I've seen are pretty far away. They might be English speaking. I don't know. And they're pretty expensive. Sometimes like in Bavaria or wherever. Where I go, it's multi-species. That's the best way to fish, I think. There's every spot in Germany, they have different rules and regulations. Here, it's really cool. They're really laid back with their rules. You can use only bait you can't use is live bait, and you can't use live bait anywhere in Germany. By live bait, I mean anything with a backbone. You cannot do it. It's against the law in Germany. You can use live worms, you can use dead fish, or anything like that, but live fish you cannot use for bait. What I love about this place, though, is that, like I said, it's a wide variety of species there. So you kind of, when you're multi-species fishing there, it's kind of like you never know what you get that bite, and you never know what it is at first. I've caught everything there from pike to eel to tench, chub, perch, you name it. Big carp, big bream, double chub, I said, yeah, naza. I mean, there's so many species. Roach, there's tons of stuff there. I can't guarantee you will catch fish, but your chances are going to be very good. Normally, if we set this up in advance, it's not a big problem. Since it's so close, I can arrange it so I can go a day or a couple days in a row before to throw food out in the water and attract the fish to that area. The spot, I'm not going to give away my spot here on the video, but once we set this up, you'll know it. And usually a day of doing this, you're going to probably learn all the basics you really need to know to be able to go whenever you want, and techniques to catch fish here. Um, it's it can be, a lot of these spots can be really tricky to find. I mean, this one was hard, as far as to find the roads to get access to the river, to the spots that are possible to fish. Some of these places you can get to, the bank might be 3 or 4 feet up off from the water, where it's really hard to net the fish, or the trees are in the way, or stinging nettle. So I know all the possible good spots there. Like I said, I've gone there quite a bit. Other thing cool here, you can use 2 poles at a time. Really increases your chances. Some places with a day permit, you can technically, you're only supposed to fish like an hour after sunset. Here you can pretty much fish into the night. You know, you can stay till midnight if you want with a day pass. Generally, I like to stay a couple hours into the night. Night fishing school, especially as the weather warms up, you know, your chances for catching stuff like eel is going to be a lot better. I find usually after a couple hours after dark, though, it gets pretty slow unless you're, you know, the only thing I really would catch later in the night could be like catfish or bream or carp or eel. But that's about it for it. I'm going to put my email address down in the description below, so if you're interested in this to set something up, just get in touch, or if you have any questions. And I think that covers everything I wanted to bring up over this. Let me just look over my sheet here. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, right now, the only reason I'm not there right now is, as I said, I'm in the process of joining the fishing club, and it's very slow. They have to do a meeting over it. There's paperwork involved, the typical German bureaucracy. That should hopefully, I talked to the guy last week, I think this next week I'll be part of it. Normally I could go and buy a day permit, but it gets expensive paying, you know, for the day permit all the time, or even a week permit. It adds up really fast, so I'm just waiting to do this, be in the club, and be able to go whenever I want, which will be awesome. And of course, soon I'll have a lot more videos on location fishing instead of just sitting behind a computer talking like I've been stuck doing the last month. The weather here is not optimal. Today it actually snowed. Me personally, it doesn't really stop me. I'll fish in sub-zero temperature, in the snow, in the rain. I'll still go out there. Of course, as the weather warms up, as we get spring approaching, fish get a lot more active. It's a lot more enjoyable for most people. You know, as if you're, like I said, if you're going to get your fishing license in the end of March, you'll be ready a month early, but you'll be ready for the pike season and the zander season to open up. Which, you know, every spot, or there's some fish that are they have their what we call a Schoenzeit when you're not allowed to catch them. Here, and also for where I go, their limits are, it's either 1 pike or zander per day, and I believe 3 trout. Other than that, anything that's over is past the legal size. If there is a size limit on it, you can keep. There's no limit on other stuff. There's possibilities to do other locations. Me personally, this is my favorite location I'd recommend going to. There's also a lot of different spots I know of on the river in different towns. They all have their pros and cons, you could say. And there's also options of going to, let's say, the Rhine River or the Postal Sea. For those, again, just get in touch and we can discuss how much it'll cost for these other locations. And that's it. Thanks for watching.